All right, Bruce, what brings you in today?
Well, I just want to quit. I want to give up. I mean, I feel like, you know, everything with probation's been a setup. I come down to where I'm supposed to be getting off probation. They told me they were going to early release me, and I get right down to the very end, and they tell me, you got 274 hours of community service you have to have done in 2 months. Or they want to write me a violation order.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's all a setup. It's all about the money.
Was this new information to you as far as the hours?
I believed I had 200. There's actually, one that I wasn't aware of. I mean, this covers a span of 3 offenses in 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
But they've never let this kind of thing go before. I
Huh.
mean, if I missed a class or something, they were all over it. They would.
So they didn't warn you that you had extra time.
No,
Is that what
not
you're
until
saying?
2 months ago, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
So I think what I'm getting from what you're saying is that you feel frustrated. I think you're
absolutely
frustrated.
angry too. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I want to file a lawsuit. I mean, forced labor is against the law. They call this stuff community service, and all it is forced labor. We go scrub toilets, mop floors, pick up garbage on the roadside.
Mm-hmm.
It's
What can you do to change them or their outlook?
I don't know, probably nothing right now. 'Cause seriously, they got the badge and the gun, and
Oh.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you definitely don't want to piss anybody off that's over, that has authority over you because,
Mm-hmm.
ultimately they can violate you and you go to jail. It's-
So right now you're fully aware of the consequences if you don't get it done.
yes,
But have you tried maybe talking to um, that person's boss to see if there's any kind of leeway on something like that? Have you, it's just a
I don't
suggestion.
know, just hearsay, and seen
Mm-hmm.
it in the past. I mean, it comes down to, well, I guess you shouldn't break the law then. If
Mm-hmm.
they make a mistake, that never comes to the forefront, and it's never mentioned.
Yeah.
I feel like, it's my responsibility and everything,
Yeah.
but they were always there to, let me know what I had to do so that I could go about completing it, and it's just frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of time, a lot of money. I've complied with everything they've had me to, wanted me to do.
Right.
Yeah,
But what it comes down to, I mean, for me, for example, would be I can't change the way they are or what they do. And yes, they may have failed me in that aspect, but I can only do what I can do each day. Sometimes breaking off little pieces of that day, putting them in a hat, and pulling one out at a time is a good suggestion. You can use that if you like, or um, look at it as that we're not all perfect at our jobs, and this may be a part where they're not perfect.
hmm I'm just frustrated. Like I said, 2 months,
Mm-hmm.
it is physically impossible for me. I go to school, I work full time.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried to, do volunteer hours and get some of this service done at the fellowship hall. But you go down there, and anybody in a supervisory position down there just wants to open a snack bar during a meeting and then go home as soon as it's over. So you get an hour here, an hour there, and it's
Mm-hmm.
always a hit and miss and it's always the same thing. Menial, worthless labor. You
Well, do
know.
you think that maybe together that you and I could look at some resources that might help you spend a little more time getting that time knocked off? I think if you were to show a good, honest effort as far as knocking some of that time off before your deadline, you could show the judge, you could show your probation officer, listen, I've done my best to get this much. Will you work with me? It's an option, you know. Um, it's completely up to you. But those are things that you could do.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm hearing you say is you're frustrated because you have so many
Yeah.
hours. And is that true?
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a physical impossibility. So I feel like, I've even thought about just going to the judge and asking, can I serve? Can I do weekends? I don't want to do your community service. Can I trade? Will you give me weekends? 48 hours at weekends is more. Then I can be done with probation and parole. But yeah, it's to me, like I said, it's impossible to do. And then you got to go in and only hopefully they work with you. I don't really see them violating me because that's just jail.
That would shock me because you have been doing so well. It would shock me. I really don't see them doing that. But together we can talk. Oh no. Together we can talk to your probation officer and see if we can get some. If we tell him, hey, we've done this much. What would you think about just extending the time a little bit so he can get it all done? It might seem like an inconvenience to be on a little bit longer, but it would be able to get that done, and then nobody would have that over your head anymore.
Yeah, like I say, it was just an hour here and an hour there, and that means $60 more a month for, we're talking something long term, and I'm done with long term. 12 years is 12 years, and I've done everything the last 3 years that, there hasn't been any violation, any dirty UAs, nothing, I'm done with the old lifestyle, but still to pay, like I say, it just kind of jumps up and kicks you in the butt.
And who knows, maybe your probation officer too was having a bad day. Maybe they were just having a bad day and you kind of got the backlash of it. But that's not to say that they won't work with you. I know they're trying really hard to not put people in jail because of the overcrowding, but we can explore that together. I will get you a recovery coach if we can get funds for it, and see if they can go with you to talk to your probation officer.
That would be,
Would that be helpful?
I mean, somebody go in with you, with a positive report, and just going in there alone, and facing them is, it just sucks.
Yeah. Sometimes avocation really does help. I mean, I'm not saying all the time. There's sometimes when it doesn't. But for the most part, it helps to have an advocate.
Yeah. Well, just to me, it would be more comfortable because you go in there and, you're the offender. And you're in the wrong.
You feel...
and I don't feel like I'm in the wrong. But I feel helpless there too, The system's a system, and that's the way it is. And
you need to take into account, when you start feeling that way, all the leaps and strides you've made to this point. That's what's going to get you through. That's what I would try to make an inventory of the things that I've done.
What I'm having a hard time with is maintaining a positive attitude about that. Like I said, I go to the fellowship hall, I get an hour. Now I have some nights that I'm just tired. I come off all 10 hours of hard construction work. I'm tired. All I want to do is eat, take my boots off, and it's hard to go
labor.
out. Yeah, and I mean, every day at an hour a day, that's 7 hours a week. It's, to me, it's ridiculous. 7 hours a week, 28 hours a month, and I got that many hours. And then there's the money, $60 a month to be on. They, I don't do anything. I don't report. I don't UA. I don't check in by computer. Nothing. How can they tell me?
All those are positives that you've earned.
Yeah. How can they say
So it could be worse, right? It could be. You could be having to do all those things plus, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, but I've done them. I've kind of thrown it out there, but it offends the probation officer. I'm not supervised Can't you? I asked them, waive my supervision, waive my cost of supervision fees because you're not supervising me.
Mm-hmm.
I've earned that, but there's no way they can do that. So that really, that pisses me off. I'm stuck in a system where I've got to do 7 hours a week,
You
pay
work the